There are 13,469 cumulative cases of coronavirus in Victoria. That's 471, more than our last update.
With Victoria's numbers careening each day, a figure that was unthinkable a few short weeks ago is now a grim pattern. As the state awoke to new restrictions, health officials underscored the importance of the lockdown.
If we had continued with that same growth rate, and by next week, the 12th of August, we would have hit 20,000 cases.
Today, the federal government offered a boost to mental health services, including Headspace, Lifeline and Beyond Blue.
These things are literally about saving lives and protecting lives, but also giving Victorians the understanding that it's okay not to be okay.
The PM flagged Melbourne's stage 4 lockdown could cost $9 billion over a few short weeks, with the jobless rate set to soar.
It is estimated the increase in effective unemployment to be between 250,000 and 400,000.
In New South Wales, 12 new cases have been recorded, but Newcastle is on high alert after several hotels and a stadium were visited by a teenager who had tested positive.
It's pretty scary, yeah. It's sitting close to home. We're buckling down.
The news was brighter in the Sunshine State.
So I can report overnight we've had 0 new cases. This is absolutely tremendous news.
So how long until Queensland's southern neighbours issue similar celebrations?
Professor Mary Louise McLaws is an advisor to the World Health Organisation, but tonight she's advising us. Mary Louise, we saw in Victoria 107 new mystery cases that had no clear source. How worried are you about that?
Not overly worried yet, because it takes a while for the contact tracers to be able to do their job properly. You've had corrected yesterday, about 688 yesterday that still have to be interviewed as well. And they may not be able to spend a lot of time to develop a rapport with the cases. They've just been told some terrible news that they're going to have to stay in isolation. They may worry about their health. So they may need another couple of phone calls to build up a rapport with the contact tracer, to be able to not feel so anxious and to be able to talk to them and then recall exactly what they've been doing in the last, 7 days, 14 days. It's a lot to try to remember, particularly when you've just been told that you're COVID positive.
Professor, the Victorian government shot down suggestions today that modelling might see the numbers soar up to 1,100 a day. What's your take on that?
I can understand why they weren't overly impressed with that number. It's very high. I think that they've had put in mask, curfew, and of course now this additional restriction. So I can't see the numbers going up with real transmission. The only time the numbers would go up over and above what I've been looking at as well as everybody else is whether or not there's a lot of backlog in the results from the laboratory. And of course, there's behaviour, and you can't often put behaviour in a model to show that people are complying and doing the right thing. So I think 1,000 is an awful lot. I know it can go up and down, and that's why I've been encouraging you to look at least a 14-day period, 2 incubation periods. But I think 1,000 a day is huge, given that you've now had this additional restriction put in place.
Meanwhile, there are reports of some pretty significant price gouging going on when it comes to masks. Are you seeing any of that?
I saw it at the beginning of the pandemic, and sadly it's happening now. And quite frankly, masks are an essential item at the moment, and I think that the government should be giving them away for free. If you actually want to buy a fabric mask, by all means purchase one, but I think it should be against the law to do price gouging, given that this is so important.
Good news in Queensland with no new cases today, which suggests that the outbreak they were fearing hasn't materialised, at least not yet. How do you assess Queensland's position right now?
Look, they can feel very smug, rightly so. They've had 0 cases today. They had 1 case yesterday, 0 cases 2 days before that, and so on. So they still have very few cases. But nevertheless, I would call that close to eradication. So well done, Queensland.
Close to eradication. What a phrase that is right now. Mary Louise, thank you very much. Always good to speak to you.
Stay well.
Gee, they really are encouraging words, aren't they? Eradication or close to eradication. I don't know about you guys, but when I woke up this morning and saw that number, that possible number of 1,100, that was depressing. But, you know, with Mary Louise's words there, that's a beacon of hope. Eradication is possible. So I hope everyone in Victoria is hearing that and knowing that that can happen.
The word I seized upon, Lisa, was smug, because that's what all those Queenslanders running around smugly looking at Victoria, filthy Victorians that we don't want to come to the Sunshine State.
You know they're running around. You're in lockdown.
I just get a sense. Look at Anastasia Palaszczuk speaking at the moment. Look at Lisa.
Stop! I think every other state really feels for Victorians right now. I think all of us feel
they don't.
that there, but for the grace of God, go all of us.
Maybe a box of cupcakes from Lisa would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah, we'll send you addresses in the app.
Well, how come I keep getting text messages from my mates saying we're off to play golf? What are you doing lockdown, Larry?
Okay, you got to change your mates, Steve.
Yeah, I think the problem is your mates are pretty much like you.